Okay, so we have this video says I'm 30, dead broke, making $9 an hour. Oh my God, 30, making $9 an hour. Let's see what this guy's got to say.
So today I was at work and I was pondering this question: how can I serve people? In my $9 an hour job, where I'm working in a kitchen, which is hidden in the back of a restaurant, how can I be of benefit to this world? And as I was pondering that question, I looked down and I couldn't help but notice I am truly stacking bread right now. And I'd seen other
Hey,
people.
I don't know if he's making a joke. I'm pretty sure he's making a joke. I know this is a serious thing, but it's not me. It's this guy.
Stack
He
bread,
made
but
the joke.
I've never stacked bread like that before. I was taking loaves, cutting them into garlic bread sized pieces, slathering them with butter, and then stacking them into a tub for future use. And I'd never sliced bread like that before. I'd never stacked bread like that before. I had a job where
I just got to say it. Just like this guy, I'm not. I got to admit, I'm not stacking bread right now. I feel like nobody's stacking bread right now. There's a lot of people that have jobs that are getting paid around. I mean, this is crazy. I don't know where this guy lives. Hopefully he'll tell us in a little bit. But making $9 an hour, I know it's at a kitchen, but still $9 an hour. McDonald workers are getting paid like 20, I think, where I'm at. I don't know. That should be a crime right there. $9 an hour.
I made a bunch of money. There was a ton of money coming into my bank account each month, but I wasn't truly stacking bread. And 2 weeks ago, when I first started working this job, the very first thing that they had me do is stack bread. Slice it, stack it. But I even in that moment, it was all jacked up.
It's probably not the bread you want to be stacking for real, for real.
Putting it into a tub. I was piling bread on top of each other, but I wasn't truly stacking it. It was all falling apart. It wasn't good. But in this moment, I was like, man, this is a good stack of bread.
What?
And then as I was noticing how nice that stack of bread looked, I looked down at the bread that I was cutting, and when you're making garlic bread, out of a loaf, there's a angle that you want to get. And it's hard to put it into words. And as I was slicing it, it's not like I was measuring it or anything like that. It's like, I just noticed it too. I was like, man, these angles are basically making themselves right now.
Bro, is this guy gonna give us a goddamn recipe of making how to make bread, the wrong type of bread? Okay, the title's I'm 30, dead broke, making $9 an hour. And it also says, how can I serve God working in a kitchen? I think this guy's just focusing on too much on the bread. He's just going deep on this thing.
I'm barely even doing this. I'm participating. I've never stacked bread like this before. And as all of that was happening, I was just flowing, and so I thought of Miyamoto Musashi.
Who the hell is that?
Because he has this quote. He's a samurai from about 400 years ago, and he said, when you know the way broadly, you can see the way in all things.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know what it is, but in this bread stack, I can definitely see the way. And Miyamoto Musashi, he wrote the Book of Five Rings. He went up to a mountain in seclusion to write it. But before he ever wrote,
I swear I think this is the book that Joe Rogan talks about nonstop. He says it's a super good book. I always write down the books every time I hear someone say, oh, this is a great book, like The Art of War, this book. I can't even remember the name anymore. I always write it down or put it on my notes, and I just have a stack of notes, not books. I never order them, and even if I order them, I have meditations that also I think it was Joe Rogan too. A bunch of people recommend, and then I buy them. Some I do buy, some I don't, and then I never read them. So if you're thinking about like buying a book, don't buy it. It's stupid. It's a waste of money.
this book, he had the most famous samurai battle of all time between him and the other most powerful samurai in Japan. And the other samurai's name starts with a K. I can't remember exactly what his name is right now. It's escaping me. But this is a fascinating battle. It's fascinating how this played out. Because this opponent, Musashi's opponent, he was venerated by other people. Everybody thought he was the best before Musashi ever came into the picture. And so Musashi was second best. They decided to have a battle at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's a crowd of people there. They're expecting the Musashi's opponent to win. Musashi's opponent, his signature is he's got a really long weapon. And so he's got strong defense because you can't really get to him. His offense is impenetrable. But 1 o'clock in the afternoon comes for their battle.
And sorry to cut off his long story, sweet long story. This is a good sign that even if you buy the books, if you read the books, and if you have all this knowledge on all this, the art of war, or the 5 rings of death, or whatever the hell he's talking about, it just doesn't do anything. You can have all this knowledge and still be making $9 an hour. So maybe it's all about like action. That's why everybody says action, action, action. If you don't take action on something, it's going to be $9 an hour. I know people, sadly, that are in their 50s that are making like $25 an hour. And it sucks because they don't want to move jobs because they know or they think that nobody's going to hire them. And it depends on what you do or where you work. That if you have a good skill, people are maybe going to hire you, you know. But a lot of the companies don't want to hire them because they're getting older and they can hire like younger people. But these people, they need more money. And they've also, like, I've had conversations with them and they tell me like, hey, but I need more money. And then you tell them like, well, you should look for something that pays you better because you have a good skill. And even though they have good skills, they're still scared to go and look for a job because they know, or like I was saying, they think that nobody's going to hire them. And it's something that no one's willing to take that risk. Like, think about this shit. If you're 50 and you're getting paid $25 an hour, which at this point, 2025, it's kind of bad depending on where you live. You go somewhere else and nobody wants to hire you. Like, what the hell are you going to do? You took that big risk. That's why everybody says take the risk when you're in your 20s and your 30s. I mean, this guy is 30. He should be taking risks. I mean, I don't think 30 is that old, but you're getting there, you know, 30 to 35. You're kind of just like, damn, I gotta either go learn something in a year or two, go get a new license, or maybe go get a different job that you're not making $9 an hour. This is for like a 16-year-old kid, you know? I mean, I'm not trying to like put him down or anything, but he should be going and looking for something at least 20, 25, 30. There's a lot of jobs out there that are paying 30 right now. So it sucks, but it's reality.
And Musashi is nowhere to be found. Musashi is not there. And time keeps passing. 105, 115, 1:30. Musashi's not showing up. 2 o'clock. And in the late afternoon, a boat comes down the river. There's a man in the boat with like a farmer's straw hat type of thing on over his eyes, lounging in the boat, and it is Miyamoto Musashi. So this really irritates Musashi's opponent. He becomes enraged. He's like, who is this guy to come here? What is his arrogance that he would show up not only late but lounging, not taking this seriously? I'm about to destroy him. And so his opponent's enraged. Musashi's calm. Musashi nonchalantly gets out of the boat. His weapon is an oar, because his opponent had this super long weapon. So he's like, all right, if you've got this super long weapon and everybody respects you and you're so confident, I'm going to ruin your confidence, ruin your peace, your calm, by showing up late. Not only am I going to show up late, I'm lounging. And if you think your weapon is so strong, so your offense is so impenetrable, I'll just use an oar. I'll make a wooden sword out of an oar. And the crowd is frustrated, the opponent is frustrated. Musashi gets out of the boat, the battle begins. And in one strike, Musashi hits him in the head. And just like that, it's over. Musashi wins. In the book, The Five Rings, it is a non-fiction book, not fake. But it almost reads as fiction because it's so contradictory. Meaning, one chapter, he's giving advice on sword fighting, and the book is about the philosophy of sword fighting, but really it's the philosophy of his life. And he is giving advice, and he's like, well, you've got 2 arms, 2 hands, you've got to use 2 swords. Make the most of what you've got. And in the next chapter, he's like, well, you've got 1 arm, or you've got 2 hands, but you can be a lot more agile if you've got 1 sword. Just use 1 sword, and then you can it can be a stronger sword. You can use both of your hands. And then he's like, well, you need a shield as well, so put a shield in 1 arm and in 1 hand rather, and a sword in the other hand, sword and shield. So he's giving advice, but all of his advice is contradictory. It's paradoxical. Such is the nature of the way. The way is not something that is as simple as a sword. It's something to be embodied. The way isn't something that you can put into a box. The Holy Spirit isn't something that you can put into a box. The Holy Spirit is something to be embodied. The way is something to be embodied.
I guess, to be honest, there's some times where people like this guy, one thing that I'm starting to notice, there's people that like to do things like he's talking about how he's not getting paid enough, but he started this YouTube channel, and I'm starting to think that this is what he does, right? He talks about books that he reads and stuff like that. And I feel like people don't realize that they're working at a job that they don't like, but they also have this hobby, which the hobby, they're actually doing it longer or way more like part of the day. Probably you come back from home, and then that hobby, you do it longer, and it doesn't take you a lot of effort like it is, like if it's to like get up to work or being at work. And this guy reads books. This knowledge can help a lot of people. There's a lot of people that like listening to this type of stuff, people explaining books. Maybe they don't want to read the whole book. Where I'm going at with this is that he's posting these videos on YouTube, and if he's monetized, these videos can potentially be making him more money than what he's making at his job if he's read a lot of these books and if he summarizes it. And what I'm trying to say is that maybe a lot of people that are getting paid a lot, not a lot of money, you can kind of think about what's that one hobby that you do that it doesn't take you a lot of effort, and then you should just kind of like either do this, what this guy is doing, or maybe you should try to build something around it, either sell it, show other people. And I feel like a lot of people don't go that route because they're scared, or they think that some people are gonna like either criticize them. But at the end of the day, this is what works, because that's where you have the knowledge. This is what this guy has, that knowledge in all of this. And if you share that, people are gonna kind of like connect with what you know and what you think, or how you think. And slowly but surely, it's gonna grow. Like shit's gonna grow.
So I was thinking about all of this as I was cutting the bread. And part of the reason I was thinking of that specifically is because I had a different knife. And the knife that I was using this time, it fit. So I forgot to mention the point with all of that. The reason it's contradictory is because he basically gets to the point and he says, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you use 2 swords. It doesn't matter if you use 1 sword, long or short. Go for agility or strength. It doesn't matter. What matters is the way. So I was thinking of that regarding my knife, because I had this new knife, a knife that was different than the one that I used on the first day. And I was like, man, is this bread stack so beautiful, so close to perfect because of the knife? This knife fits in my hand well. It's a lot longer. It's a lot sharper, so it's going through the bread. And I was like, it's not the knife, because the knife doesn't matter. But as I was thinking of that, pondering the philosophy of sword fighting and cutting bread, the phone rang. And I was up. Everybody else was busy. The phone needed to be answered. I slid over and I answered the phone. I was like, hello, what could I get for you? What would you like? I took their order. I've messed up orders in the past.
He's cutting bread and answering phones? That's
mild
crazy.
Conundrums. So I slid over before they got off the phone, asked someone. I was like, hey, is this something that we can do? She's like, yes, we can definitely do that. I said, great. Got back on the phone. What's your name? Give us 20 minutes. Bang, bang, bang. Flowing. So I go back to cutting bread. And I was thinking about the game that I was playing, because I realized it wasn't the bread cutting game necessarily that I was playing. I was playing the kitchen game. The bread cutting game was within the kitchen game. There was a smaller game within a larger game. I was playing the kitchen game. And the kitchen game intensified. Orders started to come in. I had to make a bunch of pizza. I had to make a bunch of subs. I was kind of becoming flustered because there was too many.
It also seems like this guy's doing a lot for 9 hours, $9 an hour, 9 hours. It's like, bro, come on. Like, if you're doing a lot and you're getting treated whatever, maybe you're not getting a raise, go look for another job. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but if you know you're doing all this stuff, cutting bread, answering phones, making pizza, like, is he the only one working there? Like, why the hell is nobody helping him? I mean, I hope this is exactly what he's doing, or he's telling us the truth, which, I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't be telling us the truth. But bro, like, if you're one of those people that are at your job and you're doing, like, you got hired to do one thing. Say your job description said move papers from this desk to that desk, and your boss is having you do more stuff, and you do it. Your boss is going to give you more stuff because you keep on doing it. You go and do that, your boss is just going to keep giving you shit, like more stuff and more stuff. I say, if you're doing all of this for free, why don't you just go somewhere else and let them know, hey, I'll take care of all these things, but pay me. I was getting paid $9, pay me 20, pay me 25. Maybe you could get rid of some people. Okay, maybe not say it that way, but maybe they'll see it that way. Hey, we have 3 people doing each individual things. We can have this one person do all of this stuff. Then this guy's an asset. And why doesn't he go do that? It's because people wait. Then other people, which is the boss, takes advantage of you, and then you're screwed. You keep on doing it.
Orders, and I wasn't really making them fast enough, and frustration came over me. And when the frustration came over me, I was like, that's a foul. We're playing a game right now. We have a game to win, and frustration is not serving the game. Miyamoto Musashi has a quote in the 5 Rings. It's something like, make your enemy lose their calm. Make your enemy lose their calm. And I saw that that's what was happening. I was walking the divine path while cutting bread and playing the kitchen game, answering phones, making pizzas, making subs, doing all of these things. And the enemy, the adversary, was trying to tempt me with frustration, steal my peace, steal my calm. And I saw it very explicitly. So it's that quote, make the enemy lose their calm. That's what the enemy tries to do with us. The enemy tries to steal our peace. Never let the enemy take your peace. Never let this world take your...
This is what I'm trying to say. So I guess where he's going at is I got all these things to do. I'm just gonna do them with peace. I'm gonna do them. I'm gonna be calm. I'm gonna be calm, collective, and I'm gonna just take care of whatever I gotta do. That's the problem here. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes reading certain books, they're telling you to do certain things, but I don't think you should take them literal. Like, I mean, yeah, this guy, a good thing he's taking that book in or whatever, but he's using it for the wrong reasons. Like I feel like you should be always focused on what's best for you. And he's saying like, oh, I'm just gonna like not let the enemy take my peace, and I'm just do all this with calmness and whatever. I'm not gonna let him bother me. Instead of that, taking that book's quotes and putting it into your job, and just kind of like having that book's quotes make you just sit there and wait and keep getting paid $9 an hour. Like you don't have to be applying that to that job. Like maybe you should, first of all, maybe you should move somewhere else and you can apply that somewhere else. Maybe a job that's paying you $30, $40 an hour. Yeah, I understand it. Now you're getting paid $40 an hour. And if there's someone trying to disturb your peace, you should be like, hey, I got to keep this job because my old job sucks. I was getting paid $9. Somebody's trying to disturb my peace and make me flip out, but I'm getting paid good money. And now I can withstand this. You shouldn't be withstanding all of this nonsense for $9 an hour at 30. I don't know what you guys think, but I feel like if you're in that situation, I'm not trying to come off as like, I'm trying to like say it's a bad job or you shouldn't have that. Or if it's the only job that you can have at this point, like fine, I understand. But if it's not, I feel like we should always be looking. And everybody deserves more. Someone that has bills to pay, a car, a house, rent, whatever other. You have to go eat. You have to do all of these stuffs that are necessary. I'm not talking about like going to the gym, a membership, or a fancy car. Like no, I'm saying the necessary stuff. $9 an hour is not going to cut it. So maybe you should be using those quotes for something bigger than this.
Your peace. And then everything calmed down once again. The bread was still in front of me. The bread needed to be cut. It needed to be slathered with butter. It needed to be stacked. But different thoughts came into my mind, and there was an urge to pull out my phone and look at my phone. And I pulled out my phone and I began to look at it, and I was like, foul. That's a foul. We're playing the kitchen game. We need to get back to the bread cutting game. The bread cutting game, which is in the kitchen game. The getting on your phone right now doesn't serve either of these games. They allow it. They're not very strict. There's a lot of downtime, so they'll allow you to get on your phone, but not everything that is permissible is good. Not everything that is permissible is good. And so I was like, all right, that's a foul. It's not serving me right now. So I put my phone away and I got back to slicing bread. The angles were cutting themselves. The bread was stacked in the most beautiful way. And I saw the way in the stacking of bread, in the order of it all. And then I got back to this question. I was like, how can I serve people? How can I serve people in my $9 an hour job? In this job where I'm hidden in the back of a kitchen. In this job where I could talk to people and I could be a better listener and things like that, but I'm in a vastly different place in my life than all of these coworkers. It's not a disparagement of myself or of them, but honestly, I don't think they're super interested in talking to me. we talk, but we're not really interested. They're not interested in having long conversations. That's not the best way for me to serve them right now. And then I remembered, before any of this began, very early in the morning, I asked them, what can I do to help? I saw that a bread order just came in. Can I cut this bread? Can I cut this bread? Can I stack this bread? And they were mildly thrilled, slightly thrilled. Like, yeah, you definitely slice that bread.
Yeah, go ahead, do more. Do more, buddy.
So I went back to slicing bread. And I realized that I was serving them through slicing bread. And that's the true game that I was playing. I was playing the slicing bread game, yes, but really I was playing the kitchen game. And I was playing the kitchen.
And this is what I'm saying. It's completely fine. If you convince yourself that this is okay and you allow it and you think it's fine and you're at peace with it, hey, there's nobody to blame.
Game, yes, but really I was loving God with all of my heart, mind, body, and soul. Really, I was loving these people who were around me as myself in the best way that I could in that moment. And so I realized the best way that I can serve people right now is by slicing this bread. And that's why the bread was so beautiful. Not because of the knife, not because of anything to do with the bread or anything like that, but because I was,
because of the way,
in that moment, playing the right game. I was on the way. I was walking the divine path while slicing bread. Right.
That's good.
For now, that's all that I have.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say here. That if you think this is the way, or if that's the way, if you can convince yourself that what you're doing is not wrong, if you're saying I'm 30, dead broke, making $9 an hour, I mean, you kind of don't want to be making that amount of money if you're making this video, right? You're saying like, hey, I'm 30, it's kind of late, I'm making $9 an hour, kind of sucks. But that's where I feel like that's where he goes wrong. That, I mean, it's like I'm in a hard situation. I don't like the situation, but I'm gonna make the best of it. We kind of do that of like, instead of like dealing with the problem face to face, we kind of avoid it, and we're kind of like, but it's okay. But I have something. But I'm getting $9 an hour. Well, I could be doing something else. I can't be doing nothing else because you just don't want to deal with that problem. You don't want to face it. But I feel like from the book that he's reading and everything that's going on, he came to a conclusion that what he's doing is he's slicing bread for the people. That's how he's serving people. That's what he's coming closer to God, which now makes him accept his job, the $9 an hour, and especially at the age that he's at. And that's what I'm saying. If you can convince yourself to something that you originally thought was wrong, but then now you think it's right, then, I mean, that's just all on you. You get to choose where you're at today, tomorrow, and in the future. But, I mean, I guess that's it. That was a good video. See you guys next time.